It's time to ask the question, is Buck back? If so, where did they go? And how long were they gone? Actually, we just figured it'd be fun to use the release of the Buck Range series to talk about Buck Knives the company, and whether or not their new modern folder represents the next step in the evolution of America's most famous legacy brand. We asked several people the question, is Buck back? And we found the answer usually depended on whether or not that person's favorite buck knife had been discontinued. Now me, personally, I feel like Buck was back when they released the Buck 110 Hunter Sport a few years ago. But others were fixated on different buck knives. For example, hey Kelly, is Buck back?
Buck will be back when the GCK is back.
Yeah, that's kind of how it went. So we decided that we needed to visit the Nothing But Knives bar, pour a few drinks, and talk until viewers heard enough to either stop watching or give their opinion in the comments section. We have found that eventually somebody with a good take shows up there. Welcome to the Nothing But Knives bar. Today we are drinking Peg Leg Porker Tennessee whiskey, and we're talking about the new Buck Range series, and we're sort of using that as a way to, segue into Buck Knives as a whole and what they've done and where they're going and how they compare to other legacy brands. Anyway, what do we think of this knife?
Buck Range, the larger one, which I've been carrying around for about a week or two now. Good large folding knife, but not great. Rides well for an EDC. That's the best thing that can be said about it. For a pocket knife, the blade is great at bushcraft, it turns out. It carves really well, cuts rope really well. Everything I used with it around the house sucks.
It's not a knife for around the house.
Yeah, like it fought me.
This is a camping knife. I mean, it's Buck. It's a camping knife, right?
Well, yeah. So, okay, here's the weird thing. They put it forward as like a lightweight, hard use kinda. So it makes sense that it has a rough cut. Basically, we're already getting into the weeds before we're really into it. That's fine. I gotta get into it.
We're just gonna get nerdy from out of the gate. We're gonna be full-on knife nerds here.
Tell it. Okay, so they kind of put this forward the same way that the Benchmade Bug Out was put forward, which is another thing I didn't want to compare it to. Lightweight, hard use knife, kind of all around purpose. And it kind of does that, but it cuts so awkwardly for so many different things outside of the woods that it really just should be a bushcraft.
When you say awkward,
knife.
is it the handle? Is it the way it feels? Is it the way it cuts?
It's a little bit of all of the above. Something is weird about the grind on this.
I have only taken pictures of this knife. I just realized that I've not used it to cut anything. I've only taken pictures while you cut stuff. So I think completely useless.
The smaller ones I think cut better because they're slimmer, but okay, something weird about this edge. The secondary bevel, already getting into it, is really prominent, and something about that makes it very weird to cut like paper and cardboard with. Like it gets gummed up, tears paper shortly after cutting into it. So it just doesn't feel pleasant until you start using it on wood, and then it comes alive. Like carving with this thing is awesome.
They should have called it the Woodcraft, but Tops already did that.
Yeah, right. They could have found something, or just keep the range, but call it bushcraft.
Anyway. Let's check in with Kelly. We're going to be doing that throughout this video. Let's check in with Kelly to see what she thinks.
You know, the thing about the GCK is it's a great first date knife. It's stylish enough to go with anything, but it has that look that says, keep your grubby hands to yourself.
That was helpful.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, she doesn't care about folders.
I guess if you don't like it or you do like it or whatever, if you want one, you should buy it quick, because Buck has a tendency to, and it's not like they're alone in this, but they have a tendency to discontinue some of their modern releases pretty quick. So you may want to pick this up if you think it looks cool. And with that in mind, we just wanted to do an in memoriam sort of segment on a few of our favorite Buck knives that are no longer with us. Roll it. That was a good one. Some good knives in there. Hopefully some of them come back. Buck does a pretty good job of doing a limited release sometimes of knives that have been discontinued, like the GCK.
That was a good Buck of the month.
That was, yeah. So if you sign up for their newsletter, you can get their limited releases. A lot of times they'll use premium steels and do something a little different with them. So it's really one of my favorite things about Buck right now is their sort of Buck of the month, their limited releases. It's worth, for me, I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, it's all nostalgic, but it's fun. It's fun. It's worth signing up. You know,
that is something that they tend to do really well, is playing off their old designs, and we'll get into that probably more when we talk about 110 variations.
But we got to jump into the specs, because we're always late on the specs. We suck at the specs. There's
all right, the specs.
4 different Buck range knives. Anyway.
Technically 4. There's the range, and then there's the mini range. The range, which is the larger one that I'm going to hold up, even though you can't see it from that far. Larger one is 3 3/8 inch blade. The elite version is MagnaCut. That's for regular and mini sized, and the handle's aluminum. The pro versions are 154 cm steel and GFN handles, and by the end of it, you'll probably know our preference.
I'm always anti-aluminum handle.
Unless... Yeah, well, we can tell you right now. I don't like smooth scales.
Right. The only aluminum handle I really like is the O-Knife ones that Ken Onion did.
Yeah, well, he's good at doing handles that don't hurt. And so that's one of the things that bugs me about this being such a good like bushcrafting blade, is the handle does not feel good when you're carving like harder woods. I was just carving up oak and it just bit into my hand like nothing. The GFN handle I don't think will do that, so that's kind of... Also it has texture.
Oh, we forgot the specs.
No, we didn't. Oh,
yeah, no.
No. Okay. Oh, the Mini Pro is like 2.5 inch blade, like 2.6 inches. It's fine. It's little. It's like mini bug out range. It's mini bug out and regular bug out, except this is a little bit bigger than the regular bug out.
The overall length on the big ones is 7.8, and the minis is 6.26. So that's not that many, but mini enough. And the price on the minis is $209, and the price on the big ones is $219. So
no, it's hold on. It's pretty mini. I'll show you.
So I mean, we have pictures of them together. But it's comparable to bug out prices.
So it is pretty significant. That's like a loss of about 1.5 inches, thereabouts. I do like this size though.
I'm just gonna bite my tongue.
All
anyway.
Right. The jokes have been done.
The jokes have been done.
I heard them.
So what do you think about the steel choices?
I like MagnaCut, but not here, oddly enough. I kind of wish they'd gone with S35 like they do with all their other pro stuff. So, and they did not polish this edge a whole lot. Like, it feels pretty toothy, which is fine, but it's weird if you're going to do that with MagnaCut, because like it can take such a high polish. And again, that kind of goes into like, I'm fine with 154 cm. I would rather get this on a budget with ingot steel and a toothy edge than go all the way to MagnaCut. Other people will have different opinions, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But,
let's check in with Kelly and see what her opinion is on the steel.
Are you guys still talking about the folding knife? It's fixed blade time.
Yeah, that's not really the knife we're talking about. What are some good comp knives for these?
comp
I'm
knives,
guessing
okay.
the Banter would be one.
Yeah, oh, the little one, the mini range, for sure. Like, at this point, the sort of like knife reviewer trifecta, which is the Banter, the Yonder, and the Maximal. All of those made by knife reviewers and like
Yeah, those are all
personalities
influencer
that-
knives. Yeah.
and there's probably a reason for
And
that.
we still have not done anything on the Yonder, which is embarrassing.
We reviewed it, but we wrote it. So
Oh,
it's like
right,
we
not
didn't do anything.
video. I mean,
about,
who cares? Videos, who cares about video? That doesn't count.
Right.
And then the large one.
Oh, the large one. So, yeah, I had trouble thinking of a comp for this. When I first
Bug
saw
out.
it, yeah, the bug out, which I don't remember if we mentioned
Which
that
we've
already
also
before.
never reviewed because the rest of the world already did. But
So when I first looked at it, I was like, hey, that kind of looks like a Chris Reeve. And then immediately after, it's like, no, not really. But like, it has suggestions of a Chris Reeve Sabenza, maybe? I don't know, if it were a frame lock.
you're so going to get flamed from the Chris Reeves
That's
fanboys
fine.
for that. Like, we're going to get so much hate. But bring it, Chris
But,
Reeves fanboys.
So one end of the spectrum, I'd say Cold Steel 8010. That is like a more dedicated hard use version of I think the Buck Range. And then the other side being the Benchmade Bug Out is a very similar like lightweight all around hard use EDC that only kind of works, but everyone wants to believe in it.
And we'll never review the Bug Out. Quit asking.
No, probably
Everyone
not.
else already did. Anyway.
So I've never used a Chaves knife, but I was looking at his lineup the other day, and a lot of his lines, like his design lines, look a lot like this. And now I'm curious how Chaves knives kind of match up with
Buck
this.
never mentions their knife designers, which I think is a mistake on their part because that's obviously a big part of modern folders, and Buck is trying to have this modern feel while they're also a legacy brand. Let's talk about the designers because it is something that we care about, and everyone else, knife nerds care about it. Like, I'd like to know, and now I'm going to go look, and maybe they did, but I mean, they sent us the press relief. We've watched review. I think we would know.
They
if there
never
was a
talk
design.
about the designer.
Buck never talks about designers.
That kind of goes into their whole thing with like they're still kind of old school. Was talking about the designer as sort of a modern knife thing, but like they've always just done in-house designs.
I think they got to change that. I'm going to offer that opinion.
Well,
I don't have any opinions on the knife because
when they started, it was just always one of the Buck owners. It was just like the Buck family designing stuff, but like I don't know if it's still. I don't know who it is now. I don't remember his name, but I don't know if he's still designing knives or if he just has someone in the shop doing it.
Yeah, they keep all that pretty close to the chest.
But I'd like to talk to them.
Yeah. Well, let's check in with Kelly to see what her opinion is.
Did you guys talk about the handle yet? Look at that. This thing's a work of art.
I feel like she's pretty passionate about this subject. I don't think she cares about the folders.
She has a preference.
She does have a preference.
Right, okay. That kind of goes into the whole thing of like legacy American brands.
Yeah,
in the knife
and
industry.
does Buck do a better job of catering to knife nerds like ourselves and modernizing while still keeping the nostalgic element that's important for Gen Xers and like myself and even baby boomers that grew up with only these knives? And I think they do a better job than any of the other legacy brands whose names I won't mention. Gerber, Schrade, Old Timer. The only other one that
we won't mention them.
We won't mention them. Gerber does not care about knife nerds. They don't even go to Blade Show.
I don't think they would argue that point.
No, I think they've found who their customer is, and it's not you and it's not me. If you've watched this video this far along, Gerber probably doesn't really care about what knife you want.
Gerber's not watching this video.
Gerber is not, yeah. But Case is interesting because they really have, and it's tough for Case because Case fanboys are fanboys and they like those slip joints and they do not like seeing modern pocket knives come from Case. And I think that their modern knives, the Bridgeline, the Marilla, and the Kidzuwa or something.
Yeah, Marilla and Kidzuwa, yeah.
Anyway, I think they've done a pretty good job, but man, be careful who I said that to, because a lot of the Case fanboys do not agree with that sentiment at all.
We're kind of part of the problem. We did not buy those knives because we didn't really like the way they looked as Case knives. Like, they're really slim, they're modern.
I mean, we played with them at trade shows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, at SHOT Show when they came
We
out.
should have reviewed them because they bring so much hate. The interaction would have been fun. But I do feel like Case has done a good job, and they do make modern folders themselves. I think they're making them themselves.
I assume, yeah.
I should double check.
You know,
that.
I didn't think.
But I mean,
even looked like their
Schrade.
OEM.
So Schrade, who was bought by Taylor Tools, and they went to China. They did try to do an American run, and I think they were making them with Bear and Sons. I think it was Bear. I could be wrong.
That would make it was either Bear or Smith.
But they didn't
Smith
stick
and
with
Sons.
it, you know. And their Schrade's folder designs were not Schrade. Like, Buck does a really good job of keeping a classic look to even their modern folders, and Schrade did not do that with their modern folders. They look like something off a spaceship, and it was like, I don't want my Schrade knives to look like this, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm way off track. That's sort of where I'm at with these brands. And then Old Timer, which is also Taylor Tools, you know, they did the same thing, and they brought back the Sharp Finger, made it in America. If you can find one, get it. It's awesome. Sharp Finger, modern sharp Finger, made in America. Love that knife.
So, the going back to the whole like legacy thing, like classic designs, this would be a really good knife, I think, if they gave it a back lock, because that would kind of give it like a more classic look, and I think it would make it a stronger knife overall.
Crossbar locks are ruining America, and I did the research, and I have proof. So in 1988, crossbar locks were first released, were patented by Benchmade. And back then, the national debt was only $2.6 trillion. You know, pay that out of my piggy bank. And now, it's $37.4 trillion. And you can see that ever since crossbar locks were introduced, the national debt has gone up by 33% a year, which is absolutely crazy. I'm probably going to win like an award, some kind of economics
that sounds
award.
Like Nobel.
Yeah,
Peace Prize work,
Nobel
yeah.
Economics Award for this. Bring me my $1 million.
Thank you.
I'll donate it to the national debt. But anyway, I do wish this was a back lock, and I don't like crossbar locks, even though I feel like I don't trust them. And I've seen like crazy tests with the Benchmade bug out where people have done insane things and just like blown them up, and the lock still stays. So I can't really base my dislike of crossbar locks on anything other than like being an old man screaming at clouds and telling the kids, the teenagers, to get off his grass.
There are like genuine criticisms to be had there. For one thing, like it can get gummed up better because of the spring in here. This one I don't like. Like, I've looked at where it interacts, and it just
I've gotten
the bar is
drunken arguments with people online about them, and they're always like, oh, you know, it's a quick release or whatever, you know, quick blade deployment. Like what? So you can open your Amazon packages faster. Like, how many people really need quick blade deployment?
They still complain about the Benchmade Omega screen going
right.
out, spring. I mean, I will say this actually, in terms of this being easy to actuate. I used this with gloves on for a couple of days out in the yard. This is really good in gloves. The dimensions of it really work, and like the crossbar lock, much as I don't want to like it, is really pronounced. And
also, the shape works well for glove, just for work in general. Even though, I mean, it works for just when your hand's sweaty. That sort of shape is good. This sort of handle shape is good. When your hand is sweaty, that is a good handle shape. So
that is another like thing in its favor for being a hard use knife, is it has the right shape and dimensions. Everything is spaced the right way. So I'll give it that. And another reason why I want the GFN instead of the
Now, is this on ball bearings?
No,
it's not.
It looks like it's on washer. I see copper down there.
Brass washers, I think, which is kind of surprising for a modern folder.
Yeah.
I don't hate it for the hard use aspect. I kind of like that.
The action feels good too for washers.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of cool. All right, I guess let's just talk about the GCK.
Okay,
so that
I guess it's
so
time.
that the office is not awkward next week.
That's all we wanted to talk
Right.
about anyway.
It really, there's no knife ever in the history of knives. Millions of people visit our site every year. There is no knife that we get more emails about, more questions about, more like when's it going to be back type stuff than the Buck GCK, the ground combat knife. And Buck, for a while, every few months, like 6 months to a year, would like reintroduce a limited version of it. And they seem to have stopped doing that. Although a few did show up on Amazon a week or two ago,
Yeah,
and we grabbed one, a
still out there
Tonto
in the
version.
wild somewhere. Yeah.
If you can get one, they're amazing. The handles are a work of art. Everything Kelly said is true. And we just really would love to see. I think that Buck, based on what Spartan Blades and a few of the other premium knife companies are doing, I think if Buck came out with that one in Magna Cut and that handle, I fully believe people would pay $250 to $300 for it. Not everybody. Some of you guys will never pay that for a knife ever.
I mean, we were just reviewing like $300 and $400
we
knives that were
regularly
selling out.
review 400 knives that you can't, $400 knives that you can't buy because so many people bought them. So I think Buck could do that, and we did talk to them about that one time at Blade Show, why they had discontinued it, and there were some like labor issues. The handle is very labor intensive, and that's an issue.
I think he said they did that handle by hand. That like topographical print, that was all done.
And the handle is amazing. And I just want them to bring this knife back. And so we're using, let's be honest, thanks Kelly, but we're using the review of the new Range series to ask for the Buck GCK to be reintroduced. But also, I do want to give Buck their props for just being, in my opinion, the best of the legacy brands. And it is not easy. And I get frustrated with them, and sometimes their marketing is not consistent, and we won't even get into the marketing side of things, because like that's probably something that would have been better if they'd stayed in LA.
Of course. Well, what are we calling a legacy brand here?
Guys that were brands that were around in like the 60s and 70s, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to say like Spyderco, you know, I mean, they didn't start till the 80s.
I won't call Spyderco legacy, because if I'm older, and I'm old, if I'm older than the brand.
Oh, okay. We're using your birth date as
we're using me being an old man. If I'm older than the brand, I'm not going to call it a legacy brand. And I'm certainly not going to call Spyderco or Benchmade or any of those new companies out of Colorado.
Okay. So Buck, Camillus, Schrade.
Oh, Camillus, man, we never mentioned them.
Camillus is a whole thing. I don't want to talk shit about
Camillus
them.
is complicated. OKC is even more complicated, so we've left them out of the discussion. We threw a lot of hate Gerber's way, and they are frustrated. You know, I'm just frustrated with them for like ignoring knife nerds. They don't even bother going to Blade Show, but they go to Outdoor Retailer.
They are still making good multi-tools and
they do make
tools,
good.
though.
Yeah,
I like their tools a lot.
They do. Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna check in one more time with Kelly to see how what she thinks Buck needs to do moving forward, with as they try to modernize while remaining true to the people that like the historical stuff like myself. Anyway, Kelly, what do you think?
Make a folding version of the GCK, but don't wuss out and make it smaller like you did with the Selkirk.
So I guess we're losing our lights, but I guess the question is, what do we think about Buck's attempts to, stay modern and also be a legacy brand? Like, how have they done at that?
Yeah, I like that they're always trying, even if they don't always necessarily like do a great job of it. They are always trying to get into the mix at least a little bit, even if they're kind of slow.
And I like that they were playing with Magna Cut when the other legacy brands were.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a few things in Magna Cut. They did like special editions they sent like Lauren Thomas to and all that, which is cool. But like even there's stuff with the 110
Pro. Wait, the Buck 110 Hunter Pro was a work of art.
Sport. The Sport's the one
Hunter
that we've
Pro.
been carrying,
Yeah, the Hunter Sport. Yeah, and I can't believe it. But the 110 names get really confusing. But that knife I love that knife. And obviously there's some nostalgia involved because I've been carrying a 110 since I was like 8 years old, off and on.
Oh, but that was a genuinely good modern upgrade.
It just did a great, man, it has everything. And I love micarta, and they put a micarta handle on it. They put a thumb stud on it. I would love a flat grind version of it, but
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm the one that's taking pictures of knives and hollow grinds that are a pain in the ass to shoot. But like the Buck 110 Hunter Sport was probably for me, like, okay, I'm good. You know, like this is what I needed from Buck, and I really love that knife. I like it the way that Kelly loves the GCK.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I guess to conclude the whole thing,
And that
I
one
like
has
that
not
they're
been
always trying.
discontinued. The
Yeah,
Hunter,
yeah, the
yeah.
Hunter's still out there, I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
go pick it.
And,
No, it is. We'll have links down below to
well,
all
and
this
the
stuff.
Hunter, or the 110 and 112 LT, I think is what they call it, the lightweight, which is also a really good idea. They just thinned it out and made it better
Oh,
for the
yeah,
pocket.
And there's a
that
bunch
was
of
cool.
autos that we have not messed with because we never review autos for some reason.
Not just because we live in California.
Right?
I
No,
just
we
don't.
don't.
Like autos,
We live in the part of California where no one cares.
clearly.
Right. But we should spend some time with their autos. We need to spend more time with Buck. I feel bad. This is the first video we've really done. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We couldn't care less on this channel about subscribing and notifications and all that crap. We're a website, not a YouTube channel.
But we do want to argue with you.
But yeah, I'm curious. Like, I'm semi-opinionated about a lot of the stuff I brought up here, but like most of our readers, the people that read our site, not necessarily watch
Really
the videos,
opinionated.
are, well, and they're smarter than me. So like, I'm curious to see, especially based on people's age, like, what do you think about about Buck's process with all this? It's not easy. It's not easy to be a legacy brand and to try to modernize and keep everybody happy. And so I'm just curious about what other people think.
What do you think about Buck of your introduction to knives with Spyderco? That's a weird world to me.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
true. Which for people younger than me is a reality. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. If you're still here, wow, I'm impressed. Anyway, talk to you
All our
later.
shit's breaking.
Yeah, well, lights are out.